This is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Garth.
Pete, how did I sound tonight?
You do sound sexy, just like we were
Sexy?
talking about before recording. You sound sexy.
Shooting for. He said I sounded good last week, and then I had a little touch of a cold the last 2 days, and I'm hoping I come off, turning some people on out there.
I'm a little under the weather my own
You
self
will
here,
be
so
turning
we'll see.
people on.
Yeah.
You turn Brad on. You turn on the podcast, and Brad will turn you on. That's what we
right.
do.
You could say, I think his voice is sexy. It really turns me on.
What I'm really turned on by is a song we're going to talk about later about statutory rape. So we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
You don't know. You
Well,
don't
you
know.
know.
You don't know. Teenage years include 18 and 19.
Yeah,
that's a
it's
good-
still.
And you don't know what state this
Yeah.
happened in.
You don't know. Also, she's a widow. You know, maybe she was 22 and something happened tragically.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
can get married early. Yeah,
It's
we'll get
all
into it a
in
little
good
later.
Fun.
Yes.
It's all in good fun. I actually
Oh.
like that song, which we'll get to. So
I
just-
do like that song too.
As I'm reading the lyrics, I'm a little bit like, really? That's what
Yeah.
this is about? And if you flipped it, I don't think you'd be saying
Not
the
so
same
good.
thing.
No,
Not so good.
No.
So of
This is gonna
course
be a fun
we
episode.
Anyway,
we
that's coming
tonight
later.
are talking about the thing that I love from this month. So we covered When Harry Met Sally, Brad's big love, and I think all three of us, love that very much as well. Pete, last week we covered Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, awesome debut album. Tonight we are going to dig into probably my favorite artist, owned the most CDs of his catalog of any artist that's out there, and that is Mr. Garth Brooks. We are going to be
Escape.
covering, his evil twin. He'd be the who's the guy from Days of Our Lives again? That we had on.
Demira.
Yeah.
Tony
well,
Demira.
it's Tony Demira
Tony.
and Andre.
Yes.
Or
It's the Andre.
Andre.
or Dr. Drakermore is evil twin too.
Right. So tonight we're going to be talking about Garth Brooks. The Hits album came out December 13th of 94. It covers his first 5 studio albums from 89 to 93. So this was just huge in my life growing up, through high school. So loved this, his catalog. Of course, I've said, I kind of dropped out of music after, 2000. So, after the Hits, I had Fresh Horses and came back to Scarecrow, but, haven't bought any of his newer stuff since. But, big part of my early music listening time.
Interesting about that is 89 he comes out, and in 94 you say there's 5 albums and a greatest hits. I mean, that's every single year.
That is every single year.
Artists don't
That's
do
getting
that
it done.
anymore.
That's getting it done.
And so that's pretty impressive. And
Yeah,
and
it certainly is. Every single one of these first 5 albums went diamond, which means a certified 10 million copies sold. So, and this album, the Hits album, also certified diamond with 10 million units, debuted number 1 on the Billboard Top 200, and number 2 for the year end on the country, and number 24 for the entire decade, 90 through 99. So pretty big album here.
pretty big artist.
He's the only artist with 9 diamond albums, sold more in the US than Elvis. And the only artist to sell more albums worldwide are the Beatles. So that does make Mr. Garth Brooks the number 1 selling solo artist of all time.
That's solid company.
Yeah, that is correct.
Even with the Chris Gaines snafu, he overcame it.
Yeah, he lost a lot. He lost a lot of folks during that whole deal, including myself.
It's
I
okay.
wonder, have you
Don't
ever
worry
listened to that album before, Gifford?
No, I did not want to sully my feelings towards him by listening to it. The cover was enough. Just the cover picture was enough for me to
A
say
little
no thanks. Yeah. What do you guys have to say about your memories of Garth Brooks growing up in RTR land and listening to these first 5 albums?
RTR land was a great place if you're a Garth Brooks fan, because there was plenty of it going around. And I was not, maybe I was a closet country fan, but I was not an open country fan really until of course Friends in Low Places come out, where Garth just exploded on the national scene. He did have one album before that, and it did have definitely some good songs on it, but it certainly wasn't well known. It is now, but when that No Fences album came out, it was just like, wow. And the first CD that I ever owned was Rope in the Wind.
Wow.
It was actually, because I think I had told this actually on the podcast before, but just a refresher, is that for Christmas, I had gotten a CD player and a Garth Brooks CD, but my parents like got the gifts mixed up or whatever, and they had me open the CD first. So I was like, why do I have a CD? I don't have a player. And they quickly realized their mistake, and then they're like, well, might as well just open this big one now. So
I'm surprised as a younger man, at that point in your life, you wouldn't have just gone for the bigger present right off the bat.
Well, those are the ones you
CD.
want to save. You want to save those towards the end.
You like to savor it.
I like to savor
it.
Yeah. Build up the excitement a little better.
Well, yeah, and at that point, if you don't open it, it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat, right? It's anything. Anything can be in there.
Can be anything.
So it is a lot of fun to build that suspense. But I don't care, man. At that point, when Christmas finally rolls around, and you've been staring at those presents, like you can't wait to rip into them. There's,
I do remember they went. My whole family went to a midnight service. We had already gone to the normal Christmas Eve service that we always go to, but it was like my family decided for whatever reason to go to the midnight church service that was at Dana Boat and Tyler. Mm-hmm. And they said I didn't have to go if I didn't want to. And so I stayed home. So it was like midnight, and I'm listening to this album, or the Rope in the Wind album, over and over and over again. And reading along with the lyrics and getting to know, like, hey, these are cool storylines in these songs. Yep. And so that is a great memory that I have of Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Brad, what say you?
Well, similar to Pete. So I grew up a country fan as a young child because it's all my parents listened to. And
sure.
You guys would know and listeners would know, 80s country, bomb. I love it. 70s and 80s. Like, I still listen to that a lot and love it.
But I want to comment on that. I agree with you now that 80s and 70s and 80s country absolutely kicks ass. I didn't feel that way then, though. As a kid, I don't remember liking it. It was like something my parents listened to, especially my dad, and I just wasn't into it, but love it now better than anything.
But when we got into high school, my tastes are my own now, and I'm into, mostly rock and alternative stuff, especially being influenced by my older siblings. But growing up where we grew up, you could not escape Garth Brooks. But always the contrarian, I acted like I didn't like him. In the closet, like Pete said. I hate
Halloween. I hate Garth Brooks.
It's nice to finish what you're saying.
Anyway, go on.
Even though I did tap my toes to some of those songs and secretly would say that, they're not too bad. But he represented to me the new country. Mm-hmm. And yes. I couldn't get on board with that. Like, if you didn't at least start somewhere in the 80s, like, I loved Dwight Yoakam, but like he goes back into the late 80s. Like, Garth Brooks is the new thing, and everybody loved him. And I'm like, again, I'm the contrarian. But I would say that the top 2 artists that defined our high school years, they're 2 complete opposites, but they offered this shared experience that everybody could get behind and everybody can look back with great memories of. So who would you say those 2 artists are? One is obviously Garth Brooks. Okay, what's the other one?
Would you go
Big
Ner-
picture, not just my taste,
Oh,
but
just not yours.
everybody's listening to this and it's exploding onto the scene. Pete, you know
Well,
what it is.
Are you
Nirvana?
speaking Nirvana?
Nirvana, yes, Nirvana.
Well, I didn't know if you're going Pearl Jam or Nirvana, one of those two.
Nirvana
Well,
was
Nirvana would have been bigger than Pearl Jam at that point,
especially for us when they first came out. So, I do think that's kind of cool that, we're in a place where like you could have two completely disparate artists, but love them both and everybody. And I think a lot of the country folk who love the country music, they like Nirvana too. Like they got on board with that. And we could get on board like, and we listened to CMT all the time because we didn't have MTV. So, I mean, every day we're watching country music videos and half of them I'm laughing at and half of them I'm like, I kind of like this. It's not too bad. So that was my same experience with Garth, is that I didn't want to like him, but as I'm listening to this hits album, by God, I like almost every song on there, at least in some way.
Garth just
I even
forced
saw him
himself on you.
in concert 10 years ago. He did what, 3-4 nights in a row here at the Target Center, and my wife wanted to go so bad, and we got tickets, and it was a great time, and it was a great concert, and I can say I've seen him live as well. So, you go, Garth. You got me.
Well, and so you guys have all these, great stories of going to concerts because that's what you guys do. I don't go to concerts. But in 1997, when he came to the Target Center I think he did like 8 shows. We got tickets with Courtney went and some of my friends from my fraternity, and we had excellent seats. We weren't on the floor, we were up in the stands, but we were on the side of the stage. So when he would come to that side of the stage, he moves around a lot. He's high energy. So I mean, he was like right there when he was on that end of the stage towards our end, and it was absolutely amazing. I loved that concert. One of my favorite moments from that concert, I'm sure he does it in all his concerts, but one of the guys that played guitar for him, Ty England at the time, he was trying to, branch out. He'd branch out shortly thereafter into a solo career, but he was a longtime guitarist, and he just ripped into this guitar solo. I mean, just went on and on, had the crowd absolutely in a fervor, and it was awesome. And so he gets done, and Garth does, like, wow, great job. I can't imagine being able to, get a crowd that jacked up, and then played the first 3 strums of Friends in Low Places, and the top came off the building. I mean, it was such a, obviously they play on that, but it's so great.
That's what I love about that song. Just those first, like you said, that first 3 strums.
Just the din, 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 maybe 4, but it was like this guy worked his ass off for 5 minutes, on the guitar, getting these people all worked up, and then 4 little strums, and the place is even, up higher than they were a second ago. So, yeah, just high energy, a lot of fun, and I listen back to these songs, and they take me back to high school, and just driving around in my old 1980 Cutlass Supreme. Of course, I didn't have a tape deck, so this was on the radio, and just a lot of great memories come back listening to this album.
And it is, I mean, it's such a time period because even though he came out in '89, we're in 8th grade then. We didn't really know him until Friends in Low Places. So you go from when that came out to this came out already in '94, the hits. That's the entirety of our high school years. Right. Basically, his entire peak there of his fame is those 4 years that we're in high school, living in the country. I mean, that's perfect timing for people like us.
Right. So this album
that's actually
has...
I want to touch on that point. That's actually a really good point, because would we have listened to him as much if it were the college years?
No, I would not have at all.
Might not have ever heard of him.
Well, we would have heard of him because he was ginormous.
He was everywhere.
No, he would not. I really would have not liked him. I would have totally ignored him and wouldn't have had any of these memories that we'll talk about here tonight.
Right.
I listened to quite a bit of country when I was in Morris. The roommates that I had were, big into country as well. So when we came together in college, it was, a lot of the same tastes. But once I went to the main campus at the U, like I started turning away from country a little bit more and getting into more, mainstream rock and stuff like that, and kind of fell away from the country a little bit while I was in the big city. So it's a good point. I would say if this would have came out starting in '96 for me, I probably wouldn't have really paid too much attention to it. So it was definitely the time and the place that I grew up that was perfect for listening to Garth and falling in love with the artist.
So true.
So this album, Greatest Hits, has 18 songs on it. Of those first 5 albums, only 24 singles came off of it. So he really didn't pare down too much for this Greatest Hits album. Pete, you said you got Rope in the Wind as your first CD. 5 of the 18 songs are off of Rope in the Wind. I believe all 5 singles from that album are on here.
But it's not like they were reaching either. These were all bangers.
No,
right. We've got.
You said it was 18 songs. I thought there was going to be 1 or 2 that like I just didn't even know or didn't remember. But I know every single song on here. So
right.
And that's how big it was. And they were hits. They were the hits.
Right. We had 12 number 1s, 1 number 2, 3 number 3s, a number 8, and then a lowly number 12 make the lineup for this CD. So quite a few heavy hitters in here. And there's a few where, we'll get into the album here shortly. There's a few where I'm like, you know what, you probably could have left this one off, the Greatest Hits, even though it was a number 1 hit. I was like, nah, not my.
There's a couple on there
not
that
the
could
top
have
of
been
my
replaced
list
by other ones, because I think there's a few that got left off that should have been.
Well, it'll be fun to see where we fall, because there's 18 songs, and I like that there's a lot of division by 3 here. I have 3 songs that I don't like, and I'm wondering which ones you would keep off. I have 3 songs that I really like, that like my favorites. I have 3 songs that I rediscovered and liked a lot more than I thought. And then half of the album, 9, there's just standard, really good Garth Brooks songs. Some of which would probably be his bigger hits, but they're not necessarily mine.
I didn't break them down like that, but there was some where I looked at it, didn't think that I really enjoyed it that much, but then when I listened to them again in preparation for this, I was like, this really is a great song, even though it was sort of a lesser known one. At the same time, though, we talked before we aired, as I always do on these album ones, we talk about sneaky favorites. I couldn't have a sneaky favorite on this when it's the greatest hits. When it's the greatest hits album, you can't. There are no sneaky favorites, right? Because they were hits. That's why they're on this album.
I turned them sneaky favorites because they're songs that I didn't expect to like when they started, and I either forgot the song or didn't remember how it went. The title made me think something else, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is really good. And so it's fun to rediscover that. And what was really fun though too is that because you can't get him unless you're on Amazon Music, it was fun to go back, and Gifford, I think you did it too, right? I listened to this on CD. My wife has a CD. I found it in our stash, and I have a CD player that I can still play it on. And so I got to sit right there and push the buttons and play it. And I don't do that very often anymore. So that made this even more fun. It took me back to high school.
Well, and it just shows
you're excited about pushing the buttons like a little kid. That was fun.
It's awesome. And it does show how many of these units sold. I mean, as we sit here tonight, 100% of the households on this podcast do own this CD. It is in their household. But, Pete got it for this. But Brad and I both had this CD in our houses, bought back in 94, 95, somewhere around in there. So definitely a juggernaut. And, of course, for me, I have a lot of greatest hits albums, and because I didn't, I would go more towards the greatest hits. It's like, well, why buy the whole catalog? I can get the greatest hits, and that's good enough. I had all of these CDs. I went out and bought the greatest hits because I wanted to support my guy and have this album. So this is one where I've got all the CDs and I actually bought the greatest hits. So that's a little strange.
And sometimes the greatest hits albums, they'll throw a new song or something else on there. Then you got to feel like, well, you got to buy it for that one song. This one doesn't have that. You're right. You already had every song, but if you just strictly, this is before, streaming and playlists. If you just strictly want to listen to all his big hits, then you can put this one in. If you want to hear the other stuff, you can pick another album. So.
Right. Well, and I went so far as to also buy the double live greatest hits, which is a great album to listen to as well. So I've got, quite a bit to choose from here. So I say we get into this very hefty playlist here. If you guys don't have anything else,
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm ready.
So we are starting off with "Ain't Going Down," parenthetical, "Till the Sun Comes Up." This is
absolute
first
banger to open with. Perfect song to open with.
Country songs got to have those parentheticals. They're really good at that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So this is the first single off of the fifth album, "In Pieces." It was released July 26th of 93. Hit number 1 twice on the Hot Country charts and ended the year at number 7. For me, this was like the hit of the end of summer. Came out end of July, and I remember going to football practice, before school started, just rocking out to this song. Absolutely love it. And again, like you say, great first song to start the album. I mean, it grabs you and just goes. So what do you guys have to say about this one?
This one for me brought back visual, kind of like you said, brings back visuals of our high school days. Just the lyrics themselves, it was the environment of like what growing up in rural Minnesota, like we did. I mean, obviously this isn't about Minnesota, but basically just rural America, and what it was like to just be out and partying all night and just having a lot of fun. And this song, we talked about what a great opener "Welcome to the Jungle" was on Appetite for Destruction. This is an absolute banger to have as your opener on this album. It gets you into it. I absolutely love it.
So the other nice thing about have the CD is you open up the CD and he's got little notes on each song that he wrote and shared. So I did look up some things, but like most of my stuff just comes right out of there, which I'm sure Gifford already have anyway. But this is one of those country songs. So this is a country boy song. Like you guys just driving around your car, it's like you just, I don't have quite as many of those memories because I've listened to other stuff. But this is a song I didn't know if I was going to like. I mean, I remember the song, but this is one of those fun country songs. And sometimes those fun country songs are my least favorite and they're really cringy and the lyrics don't work. But this one's good. He just wanted a fun song and nothing else, and it qualifies. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love the fast lyrics. I love the wailing guitar, and then Terry McMillan's scorching mouth harp here, or mouth organ, I like to say, for the harmonica. The harmonica is awesome in this song. In high school, I fancied myself a little bit of a singer, and Garth's range always worked well with my voice. So whether or not I sounded good singing it, I would belt out these songs.
Go for it. Hang on. We'll
can't do it. Can't do it now. Dealing with a little bit of a cold, and it is a perishable skill if you don't keep up your voice. But this song with the fast lyrics and the longer verses is a real test to your breathing to be able to get all of those lyrics out. And I could do that back in high school. My lungs were good enough, and I practiced quite a bit with that. So I could get through these verses on a single breath, which is very difficult to do with this song. But I love it. And of course, this song is again one of my favorite things. It's about a good time gal. She's out and about having a great time. To find her
get your
folks.
redhead back in bed before the morning.
That's right. So it's so many great lyrics and fast lyrics, and just a banger of a song. So love this one right off the bat. All right, we're gonna get into track number 2, little known song. I don't know how you guys feel about this one. This is "Friends in Low Places." I don't know if you ever heard of this one. Nope, 4 weeks at number 1. This was recorded as a demo by Garth Brooks. It was the last demo he ever recorded as an artist. His debut album was already set and hadn't come out yet, so there was no room for this song on his first album. This, of course, was the first single off of No Fences, but he didn't have room for it on the debut. He talked to the writers, really loved it, and wanted to put it on the second album. So
It seems like an oversight that you would cut this song, because there's other songs on that album that you could have cut, but why would you?
Right. But the album was already set, so he already had.
I got it. Okay.
Already had it in the can, so basically it was not going to fit. So this was actually recorded by other artists. David Chamberlain recorded it in '89, and Mark Chestnut also recorded it for his debut album that came out a month after No Fences. It was released August 6th of '90. I just love how it starts slow and then just builds, and you've got the sing-along factor as it moves through the choruses. I love like the second to last chorus. You've got the beer can crack in there, just to give that, real party feel to it. Obviously it's a all-time classic and just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The interesting thing with this song is that, and I didn't learn this till just a few years ago, is that it's actually a cover. That like this, this song was out before him ever, and it's been recorded by multiple people, which you'd never think, because it's his song. He's the one that made it into what it was. And I actually think that it probably worked out better for him to save it for the second album, because by that time he's more of a known quantity and he has a little momentum. And then this is what just, catapulted him with that, because that second album can be tricky sometimes. And that's the song ended that discussion right there. So, and like you said, Give, this is one of my good songs. This isn't one, even though, but it's great. It's undeniable. It's a sing along. It's fun. It's iconic. It's nostalgic. I mean, I don't know what you can say about it that why you wouldn't like it. It's got everything. So
there's there's no song that's more uniting than this one. It's like it just gets everybody into it when it comes on. No matter who you are or where you are or anything, everybody will be singing along to this one. I think more than any other. It's just so much fun, and it obviously it just put him on the map. I love you talked about towards the end of the song the sound effects. I had written down when the cheering crowd starts to build up towards the end. That makes it a lot of fun and more of a party atmosphere. I don't know. You could say it was overplayed, but it never got old. Obviously it was, because it was such a huge hit, but I never felt like it was overplayed because it was so much fun every time it came on, and you could listen to it, rewind, listen to it over and over and over again. This one would never get old. It was just a fun song. There was the alternate. I was going to go back and look up the alternate lyrics. Gifford, did you have okay, read it for us.
So we have a third verse to this song that he would include in live albums and in concerts. So the third verse is basically the second verse of the song.
Yeah, it's a redo of the second verse.
Right, and it just ends, the end of it just ends a little different. I don't want to cause a big scene, just wait till I finish this glass. Then, sweet little lady, I'll head back to the bar, and you can kiss my ass. And of course, live audiences go nuts for it, and it's just outstanding. Adding a little bit more oomph to the party atmosphere with all your friends in low places.
I remember in about 91 or 92, there was an NBC special that came out to Garth Brooks concert, and how big that was. And that was the first time, at least that I had heard, which was just a great special and a fun show to watch. And just how excited everybody got when he did that alternate verse. And the way he set it up and everything, he pointed out that how he actually acted in the song is not how he really would have handled the situation. So he redid it to make it this one, make it this ending.
Right. Well, and of course the popularity of this song is the reason why, No Fences is the biggest selling album here. It's, 17 million copies sold for that album. So, well over diamond status. But yeah, this he has other songs that he considers his signature song, but I think pretty much anybody would agree that if you have one song for Garth Brooks, this is it.
The one that he thinks is his signature song, I'm like, I'll disagree with you there, Garth.
Sure. Well, he's got his reasons for it.
I'll disagree with you there, Garth.
So this is the one. And then that's one of the more ballady song. I think there's better ones of those too that I thought that I remember being much bigger.
Right.
And if I remember them, that must mean they were pretty big. So
Mhm. All right, our third hit coming off the charts here. Call in Baton Rouge came out August 1st of 94, the fifth single from the In Pieces album. This one hit number 2. Again, not an original for him. Originally recorded by the Oak Ridge Boys for their 78 album Room Service.
love those Oak boys. Also Billy Joe Spears. So it's another one that's been done more than once before he ever did it.
Right.
I did not know that.
And then the Newgrass Revival is the other one, which he brought back together when he recorded it. This song is all over the place.
It sure is. Yeah, everybody's calling Baton Rouge. I love the fiddle. I love the banjo in this, and I love the quick lyrics. So I said, like, all these came out while we were, before we got to college. This is the one song that I have a big connection to Courtney with. Obviously, this was still a big thing in 95 when we started dating. And she likes to change the lyrics to songs very awkwardly. And she changed it to Calling Brinkman Drive because that's the street she lived on in Bemidji when she was growing up. So when we were listening to this on Saturday, coming back from a hockey game, of course, we had to change the lyrics once again to Calling Brinkman Drive.
Doesn't roll off quite as well.
She doesn't. It really doesn't. She doesn't do a good job of reassigning lyrics when she does it, but they are memorable when she does so. But yeah, so I love this one. I just love how fast paced it is. Anything you guys have to say on this one?
This one had a similar feel to the first one. Just because it is fast paced and it's fun lyrics, and it's fast lyrics that you can sing along to, just like sort of the first one. And it's a lot of fun, sweet accordion, and I don't know, I just love it.
Well, you brought up the fiddle and the accordion. What I liked about this song is it's got that bluegrass sound. I mean, it sounds a little more, and it's the Oak Ridge voice, 78. So this is a little more of that traditional country. And so there's nothing wrong with this song. This is another good one. We're 3 for 3 on my list of 9 good songs that I like. Can't complain about. Give me some bluegrass, and we're good.
I think we're going to be 4 for 4, as a matter of fact.
Right. Well, and
one of my favorites are sneaky good ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you say, like this is Garth is the, one of the flagships of the new country. But he's got, a lot of his instrumentals do incorporate, the older country. Like you got a lot of a steel guitar, you've got a lot of fiddle, and you've got banjo in there, mandolin. I mean, there's just a lot of, just good old fashioned country in there, I feel too.
No, and it turned out he wasn't the new country that I don't like.
No.
That came later with a lot of other guys. He's fine. He's not. It's like true. Exactly what I like, but he's definitely good and is a good bridge between those eras.
Well, and I think, he was kind of the, the push in the early 90s and into the mid 90s where country was starting to, kind of come out of the shadows a little bit, and you had a lot of fun artists that were pushing stuff out there.
The other things, it was because he was so big and so successful that they could do TV specials, they could do all this, and so that then exploded. Okay, who else can we get now? Who else can we put out next? And it turned like, who's the next Garth Brooks? And that's where I think they started to lose.
Kind of fell flat, and Garth changed the trajectory of the entire genre, I think, in that regard.
All right, so the fourth one on the list, we're gonna slow it down a little bit here. Number 4, we got The River, came out April 27th of 92. This is the 5th single from the Rope in the Wind album. This hit number 1. I love the lyrics. It's a slower song. Good message. I'm a sucker for the spot where we've got just the vocals and the drums. So definitely love this song. I got another little something to add after you guys have your say.
Another good one.
This was one I remember that night when I got the Rope and the Wind CD. This was one that I fell in love with right away, and I replayed it a few times. The first time I heard the album, I love the poetry and the analogies in this song is just so perfect. You know, just like you got to keep going, even though you don't know what's coming, and learning lessons from your past, which was such a sweet message.
And take some risks, in order to live your life.
Risks. Yep.
Right.
This is inspired by James Taylor, which is not a bad thing. I'm not a big fan of a lot of Garth's ballads, but this is probably my favorite. This one I like a lot. I wrote down multiple times when we get to these slower ones, many of them sound like funeral songs to me, which is sad, but those are often good songs too. You play them at a funeral, they're usually a good song. In this case, I like it, but it still gives me that vibe. And I tried to look up who Dale Weir was, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But Garth is really an honor that this song was played at Dale Weir's funeral. So whoever Dale Weir is, somebody important to Garth Brooks, and they played this at his funeral, and Garth liked that. Also, his Trisha Yearwood is on backing vocals too.
Oh,
they're
wonder
married.
if this is where they met for the first time.
Collaborated many a time, including the concert that I went to, where she maybe spent a little too much time on stage.
Yeah. Yep. I called that the bathroom break.
Seemed like she was up there for a year. Would you
Something
change
like
that? See what I did there?
Yep.
So in the spring, in high school, we would have a concert every year where the kids could pick what they wanted to do, and this was our Pops concert.
Called the Pops concert.
Yes. So you can buy tapes of songs with the instrumentals and no vocals. And I owned that tape. I went out and bought that tape, and I was planning on doing this song for a Pops concert.
I'm gonna say I don't remember you ever doing this one.
Oh.
No, this was instead
That's from the
I
Cutting
decided to
Room
do a duet with Jason Kohler that didn't quite go to plan.
Oh, the
I
Gambler.
was gonna say, how did that work out? How did that work out for you?
Oops.
Oops.
For its big on stage. Oops.
Yeah.
I got the
It's
line
okay.
wrong. Came in too early.
Forgot the lyrics. Well, yeah, that's what it was. I thought you forgot the lyrics, but
I didn't forget the
so
lyrics. I
weird.
came in late. I came in a measure
Okay.
late. But that was to a tape. Like, that's the same thing. Like, you get a tape, no vocals. It's got the instrumentals. So that was my plan. That's how much I loved this song at that point. And I was planning on doing a solo version of this for everybody's enjoyment at the Pops concert.
You know what, Gifford? You're kind of like Roy McAvoy, where you're immortal because nobody remembers anything else about the Pops concert, but everybody remembers the Gambler. Everybody remembers that you missed the free throw for 100 points that we've talked about. I mean, you can look back and regret that or feel bad, but here we are, and you're immortal.
nobody remembers shit that
Everybody's
I
gonna
did. That's for
remember
sure.
12. You know, yes. So, yeah, I had a few. I think I had top three moments of embarrassment in high school, and they were
Falling into
all. They were two of them were in that gym. So yeah, that was outstanding. So we're gonna move on to number 5 here. Much too young, parenthetical, to feel this damn old. Debut single from the debut album came out March 6th of &89. This hit number 8 on the Hot Country charts. So our first, not our first non-number one, but first one out of the top 5 anyway. So beautiful violin and fiddle. There is a difference between a violin and a fiddle, just the sound that they make. And I always like to say it's where you play them. Fiddle, you play on your hip, violins under your chin.
Well, it's the same instrument, though, right? I always thought it was the exact same instrument.
It is. It's the same
Okay.
instrument.
All right.
It's just on how you play it, you know.
Sure.
So, but this, shows the tough side of being, a rodeo rider. The inclusion of Chris Ledoux in this song is what really helped propel it. Chris Ledoux, country singer in his own right and Hall of Fame bareback rider, really helped to popularize the song. And, if it's going to be your first single on your debut album, a nice one to drop here. Chris Ledoux, he reached number 7 with a duet with Garth, What You Gonna Do with a Cowboy in 1992, and his best single hit number 18 with Cadillac Ranch in 92. But my personal favorite from Chris Ledoux is from 91, This Cowboy's Hat. If you have never heard that song, I recommend it. It's kind of one of those speaking songs. Just a really great a song. But this one, I love. This one, to me, growing up as a farm boy, there's a difference between a cowboy and a farmer, and there's a few songs on this album that really help illustrate that. I was always jealous of what those cowboys could do and those rodeo guys could do. I couldn't run a lasso to save my life. Never rode on a bronco, horse or whatever. Just not my lifestyle. Even though you're kind of in the same environment, it's completely different. What's that?
You're gonna start quoting Toby Keith now?
Maybe.
Sounded like you were getting into the "should have been a cowboy" lyrics there for a moment.
Maybe next week we'll do Toby Keith.
Started on "Should Have Been a Cowboy."
So you bring up Chris Ledoux and how that helped this song, and we're doing a poetry unit in the school right now, and we're talking about illusions, and that's such a great example of an illusion that he made that helped him out, as you referred to Chris Ledoux. This is an excellent song. This is my first sneaky favorite of the three. I did not remember this song from the title. I thought it was a fast song. The title makes it sound like this is going to be one of his fast songs. So when I started to listen to it, it's way slower. And then I remembered the song, but it wasn't what I was thinking going in. I love the vibe of this song. I love the pace. It's totally a forgotten gem. And to me, this is what country music should sound like. This is a wonderful song. I loved it.
Absolutely. And I remember he came out with there are different versions of this song where, like, right after Chris Ledoux died, and then he throws in on that part, he yells out, "God bless Chris Ledoux," and makes that really well known. And he did that at the concert that I was at, the Garth Brooks concert. But you're right, this is a sneaky favorite because it wasn't, I don't think, as well known nationally. But
it was his
definitely
first single, and he wasn't as big yet. So
yeah. But if you listen to that album, you're like, this is freaking sweet. I agree with what you said, Brad. The vibe of this song is just beautiful, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, perfect country song, like Brad said. And it hits a lot of the tropes, right? Like, you're on the road, missing your lady and all this stuff. But you're trying to follow your dream as tough as it may be. But you've got your strength and conviction, and you're going to try to follow through with it. But it's a wonderful song. And to think this is your entry into the world of music, and you're able to hit with a number 8 single. So pretty encouraging for him to come out in that style. So obviously just great things to come from this start for him. Our 6th song comes from the 4th single from No Fences. This is Thunder. The Thunder Rolls came out April 30th of 91. This hit number 1 again and ended the year for 91 at number 4 overall. The thing I remember of this song is it blew people's minds, the thunder in the song. Like, it was so weird. It's just an effect, but it's really cool. I really liked it. And then, of course, it's just kind of haunting.
I was going to say haunting.
Thunder in the background.
God.
And then, of course, the overall, theme that he's, an adulterer. And, I love the part where, it's blowing outside, but you can still, smell this strange perfume and, definitely darker song, but man, what a great one.
This is another one that had a famous 3rd verse to it that wasn't on the original. Do you have that
4th
one?
verse.
Oh, it's a 4th additional verse. And I guess I just thought of this now, but so I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but it's where how it ends is that she blows him away. She goes into a drawer and pulls out a gun and shoots him.
That's in the video, which I'll get to.
It is in the video, right. Absolute, Gifford, you said it. Haunting, the thunder, the music itself, and the way he sings it just sets that perfect vibe to it, and it creates such a great visual about exactly what's going on. And not only, a lot of songs have great lyrics that set you into the scene. This one actually you could smell the perfume. Like when you listen to the song, it's like almost as if you could smell it, and that's the oh shit moment. But God, I love this song. This was probably, other than Friends in Low Places, this song was number 2 for me anyway. When I got this album, it was like, and it might even be a better song than Friends in Low Places, but this was another one. Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is top 2 or 3 Garth Brooks songs, in my opinion.
I have 3 favorite Garth Brooks songs. This is the first one right here. This song is a banger. It's awesome. It's another one that was recorded before by Tanya Tucker, actually. But she did not release it as a single, so he did decide to do that. The single that he released doesn't have that 4th verse, which is a little more explicitly about domestic violence, but he will often play it in concert. And then the video, we said. So the video, and this is where I get so bugged by country music. So TNN, which was the national network, and CMT would not play the video after the first couple times because they thought it was political or something. And I just, sometimes country music is so safe. Well, because it talks about domestic violence. Sometimes they're so safe that it's like, come on, this is nothing to this. So VH1 started playing it, and this, of course, what do you think? This went on to win the CMA Video of the Year after these dumb stations wouldn't play it. And and there's more coming. There's more coming where he was like shut down and had trouble for the most ridiculous reasons. And I don't know. Some of these stories are straight out of today too, because it's so annoying.
What I remember from the video is him as the husband. He's got the short, facial hair, and yeah.
I watched it, but I guess I wasn't looking that close because I was looking at stuff.
I didn't watch it back, but I just remember the video, and I always thought that was him in the video. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could have swore that was him in the video as the husband.
And a great video. It's awesome.
Yeah. No doubt. Anything else on our 6th song here? We're gonna finish out the first third of this rocker. We're gonna come into number 7 now. The American Honky Tonk Bar Association. This is the 2nd single from In Pieces. This hit number 1, came out September 7th of '93. So this would have been just as we came into our senior year of high school. The thing I will say about this, I love the instrumentals. Not a fan of the lyrics at all. This was one that I would have not put on the Greatest Hits album. I get it. It's a number 1 hit. But when it came out, I wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't, listening back to it now, I'm not a fan of them bitching about welfare recipients, then talks about everybody's a family and reaching for those who are down. Kind of mixed messages there. So I get it. It's a number 1 hit. You'll put it on the hits album, but this would have been the first one that I would have left off.
I agree. This was one I would have left this one off too. It just didn't jump out. I never liked this song as much as the other. Not that it's a terrible song, but it just didn't grip me like every other Garth Brooks song does. Is sort of fun, I guess, but like you said, I would have left it off for sure.
This is, I mentioned the fun country songs earlier and how they don't work. This one doesn't work. And it's especially bad on this album because it's such a transition that's bad from this great, powerful, awesome song to this bull crap coming after it. There's certain songs, there's a couple more, at least one more in here. There's just like these by the numbers cliche country songs where it's like, oh, we're going to make some puns out of something and turn it into these lame ass lyrics. I'm glad you guys don't like it because I hate it. I don't like this song.
Yeah, I think it's the whole point of the pun.
No, it's like, oh, we got a pun here. We're gonna make a fun song on it. It's write a good song instead.
Yeah. Again, like I say, the music part of it, I can get behind. I like the good fiddle and guitars and things like that. That's fun. But you took a good song and just butchered it with the lyrics. So
let's move on. that one.
Yes,
It was all
we
in
will-
agreement. None of us liked it.
We will move off of that one. So number 8, If Tomorrow Never Comes. This is the second single off the debut album. This came out August 21st of 89. This is his first number 1 hit, and this is why I believe he considers it his signature song. This, to me, is a good hip-grabbing song. You have this on at the school dance, find that somebody special,
Yeah.
grab some hips and sway back and forth.
I don't mind this song. It's in my list of 9 good songs that are fine, but it's not, I don't get that feeling at all. This is another funeral song to me, especially with the lyrics. It's a very funeral.
It is a funeral song.
It's actually a love song, and actually to his daughter, and I like that. That's good. It's a fine song. It's squarely in the middle, but it gives me that funeral vibe. I'm not thinking of dancing with anybody and grabbing their hip.
No, I'm thinking about like making sure my will is updated and my insurance.
If tomorrow never comes.
Yeah, it was put out by
Michael
American.
Keaton in
Yeah,
that, in
it's-
the movie where he's shaving and making videos for his son before he dies. That's what it's like.
Yeah, this is sponsored by American Family Insurance. This song right here. Yeah.
But it's a good song.
Jake
good
from State Farm was on backup vocals. Yeah, for sure. I like that take. Yeah, I mean, it's a good song. This would be, for me, on the Hits album, I would skip over this one.
Yeah, like you said, it was first number 1, right? So it's got to be
Yeah.
on there. But no way would I consider it his signature song. Like, not even
Right.
close.
Right.
He
yeah,
considers
no.
it a signature song.
Yeah.
I would not
wouldn't
personally.
skip it. I like the song,
I probably would too.
but certainly not at the top one. I'm still baffled by your school dance analogy, but
Yeah, it's a slow song, and this would have came out when we were in
it's
middle
a
school,
slow
so-
song. But there's
Yeah,
a
so-
million other slow songs that are
Yeah.
better.
Hey, if the slow song comes on, gifts grab and hip. That's all there is to it.
Giffords trying to work this into the Valentine's Day theme right now. Even though
Yes.
it's after he's connecting it back to our monthly Valentine's theme.
And if
That's
he's
right.
talking about memories of school dances, then the next song actually kind of fits the theme.
There you go.
It's a nostalgic song.
Very,
It
very,
is a
very
nostalgic
nostalgic.
song.
So this is our number 9.
That's a
We're getting to the halfway point here. This is Unanswered Prayers. Came out October 12th of 90. This is the second single from No Fences. It hit number 1, and it finished the year end of 91 at number 9 overall. It's the first single that was released outside the country charts. It was entered into the adult contempo scene as well. Again, this is a difference between a violin and a fiddle, in my opinion, in this song. Very beautiful string arrangement in this song. Wonderful message again. I mean, don't always hope for what you have right in front of you. The future holds many wonderful unknown things, and you need to be open to those things. And the other thing I took away from this song is I'm one of God's greatest gifts. So,
Well, we already knew that.
yeah.
We're
What
in
say
the
you?
point of the album right now where like I'm getting antsy. I want to move on. This is my second song that I don't like. It starts off okay. I like the nostalgia. He's at a high school football game. He's looking back. The sound, the first verse isn't too bad. The chorus to this song just does not do it for me. It's my second least favorite to Honky Tonk Bar, and it has like a lullaby feel to it to me, and it's like this over the top
does.
lullaby, and telling you you're God's greatest gift. I mean, yeah, it's a little over the top. So I feel like they just tried to. I don't even like the title. This is one I would go right past. We're two of the ones I don't like already out of the way, so it's all good
All
from
right.
here.
Well, that's fine.
I like the song,
Yeah.
but I totally get your take on it. I didn't think about how terrible the title was until I heard you say that, because it's really the point of the song. But it's just about being thankful for what you do have and realizing that what's best for you might not always be the same as what you want. And so don't be pissed off at God because you don't have what you want, right? So
Right.
it's a little
You'll
bit
come back
it's a little
around.
bit
Yep.
it's a little bit too sappy though, is what I had written down. But
Yeah, that's good.
so
It's not the
a
worst
nice
song ever, but it's too sappy for me, and we're in the point of the album here where I got to get back to some bangers, and we're not getting them right now.
So what you're
the
saying is he crossed over from nostalgia into sappy.
Yeah,
Okay.
the wrong kind of nostalgia.
It can be a fine line sometimes. It can be a very
Started off
fine line.
promising, but it did not maintain.
Sure. All right, so we're going to move on to the second half of this album. We're going to go with number 10 here, Standing Outside the Fire. We're going to pick the pace up a little bit. This came out December 13th of 93, third single from the In Pieces album. This hit number 3. He was sued by Kenny Loggins. Oh, sorry, then I'll skip that. What I'll say about this song, the instrumental in this song is absolutely amazing. You've got the guitar in the first verse. You've got the piano. Instrumental here is absolutely amazing. You got the guitar in the first verse, piano in the second. You got the fiddle throughout. You got bongos towards the end, and then they bring it, all of those elements in at the end of the song. I love how this song is like soaring inspirational lyrics. Again, a little bit like The River, where you've got to get out there and take some risks in order to really live life. It's just the upbeat version of that. So I'm a fan of this song. I think it's musically just a great song.
I don't say it's a great song. It's not necessarily my favorite song. It's a good song. Yeah. Maybe an average song. I would not put it in the great category. The chorus just seems contrived to me. I don't know. Something about it doesn't jump out at me. But it is a good message. It's inspirational, but lyrically and musically doesn't jump off the page for me.
Yeah, I'm with Pete. It's fine. It's in my middle. It's in my 9 good songs. This is one I didn't think I liked at all, but when I listened, it was okay. But it's a better story about the song because he was sued by Kenny Loggins, who thought that he totally stole from one of his songs. And like at first he wouldn't agree, and then Garth Brooks admitted basically to Kenny Loggins that he did borrow from the song, like he told him that. But he wouldn't pay him any royalties. And so Kenny Loggins thought I should get some money for that, and Garth wouldn't do it, which is weird because he admitted it. So then it went to court, and he eventually settled. So nobody knows exactly how much or what for, but Garth settled it. And it's just, they do not sound like they're friends at all. It doesn't sound like it went well after that.
They might be in the danger zone.
I'm Team Kenny here because Garth, don't be a jerk, man. You admitted you got just give him some money. Just give him some credit for it. I don't know.
Did you listen to the song?
I did not. I don't remember the song.
It's
the same.
It's a slower version, but the way it ebbs and flows, and I mean and the kind of the message of the song. I mean and I didn't know this until I was doing my research for tonight, but yeah, I went and listened to the song. I'm like, oh, buddy, like it's not as bad as Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby, but it's pretty apparent.
I kind of ebbed and flowed with my opinions on Garth as a person too. And right here, I didn't like him much here, although he's coming back pretty soon. So there's another good story coming up.
All right, so we are going to go to, I like this here. I love the song musically. You guys are like, go ahead and move on to the next one. So controversy, I love it. Number 11 on our list, we've got Rodeo. This is the first single from Ropin' the Wind. So Pete, well, it wouldn't have been the first song on the album, was it? Let me see here.
I don't remember. I don't think it was.
It was not the first. It was the second song on Ropin' the Wind.
Okay.
But it was the first single from that album. It hit number 3. I love this song. Totally, it romanticizes the rodeo lifestyle. To me, this is again, like I said, the difference between being a farmer like me and a real cowboy. I love the twangy lyrics. You got an organ in there. You got the steel guitar. I mean, this is country music to me.
I had to take my glasses off for this one because I don't know what that means, but this song is such an absolute banger. How many times are we going to use the word banger tonight, by the way? But this one, my
just shy
God,
of 18.
What a freaking great song this is. This might be my favorite Garth Brooks song.
I got to
and
take
one of
my
favorite-
glasses off too now. So that's
Well,
what we're
'cause
doing
I just
with
gotta
this
get-
one.
This is
My
why,
pants have
because
been
I'm
off
doing
this
it.
whole
I'm-
episode, just so you know.
I'm like rubbing my eyes because it's just like such a
I'm with
freaking
Pete,
amazing
and
song.
and unlike how they went from the Thunder Rolls to a shitty song, now we've gone through a stretch of mediocre to bad songs, and now we are just killing it again. This is a great timing. I needed this song. This is one of my 3 favorites. It's awesome. I love the way he sings it. This is some good Garth Brooks stuff right here. This song's originally actually about a woman who can't compete with the rodeo, written in 1981.
Right.
But
That's
had a
what
little
the song's
different
about.
theme to it, and he finally
Okay.
took it and changed it into like the life of a rodeo.
Yeah, but there is
And-
that in the song, like in the third verse or whatever.
Mhm.
How he is, it's between a woman. The woman wants
but
her
it was
cowboy
told
like
more
he
from
wants his
her.
rodeo.
And
Okay.
it was even offered to Trisha Yearwood, but she wouldn't sing the song because it wasn't her experience. And apparently she only sings things that are her experience.
Sure.
So could have been her song, could have been a little different, but it's a Garth Brooks classic.
It's just awesome. Spurs and a Let It
It's
Go.
smooth
It's just
And
so
let it go.
Spurts in
fucking
Latigo. Latigo. It's not Let It
Wait.
Go. It's Latigo.
No, I know,
is
but
it- Okay, I thought you
the way
said
he
Let It
says
Go.
it is awesome.
it's just
Um,
freaking awesome. Yeah.
I
love
had
it.
I know about this song. It's smooth yet badass. You get pumped
Yep.
by it every time.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
description.
It makes me want to go to a rodeo, even though I'm not a rodeo fan.
Down to the rodeo.
You gotta go. All right, so everybody loves that one. That's just and to think that it only hit number 3, that
Yeah,
to me
and
is
as
a
a
little
lead single coming on, if it's his third out, like how does it just not
Mhm.
automatically go to number 1? That's crazy.
right. And
You'd think
and
he
this
couldn't put anything out that wouldn't go to number 1 at this point.
right. Yep. All right, so we're gonna move on to number 12. What's She Doing Now? December 6th of 91, third single off of Rope in the Wind. Spent 4 weeks at number 1 and ended the 92 year at number 4. This is just a classic lost love song with beautiful vocals. Again, love the steel guitar and love the piano in this song.
Yeah, I enjoy this one a lot. This is another one that was recorded by somebody else. Crystal Gale first sang it, and it was what
Oh,
he's
really?
He's
now.
doing it. Yep.
Actually changed it. I enjoy this slow one. This one does not sound like a funeral song to me. It's just very pretty, and it's much more relatable. The lyrics, like you can, you think about a lost love. What it's like, you can totally relate to it. So this is in my list of 9 good ones, but it's pretty high up there on it. This is a really good ballad.
I agree. I love this song too. It is something that we probably all experience and think about from time to time, is that lost love or love that never was, right? And the one thing that I had written down though is I've never actually sat down just for laughs and dialing her own number, her old number, and then sit there and I wonder if she's done that too. No,
No.
buddy. Pretty sure she hasn't.
Right. Well, and the beautiful, I love like the little turn of phrase in it. The song, you're thinking, what's she doing now? Like, what's she up to? But it's really what she's doing to him.
Yeah, it's
now.
tearing
So
me
it's-
apart.
Right. It's
Right.
just it's so beautifully done. Lyrics are beautiful, and his voice is amazing in this. So definitely a great one. Glad it was such a huge hit. And again, it's the ballad, so it's going to tend to be, like we talked about with the hair bands. The ballads, tend to appeal to everybody rather than maybe just the guys or the girls. So this is a big one for sure. Number 13 on the list, We Shall Be Free. We got our first song from the album The Chase. This is the first single from The Chase, came out August 31st of 92. This is the big stinker on the album. This one only went to number 12.
Well,
And
I got
agree
a
with
lot
that.
of notes on this one because this
Yeah.
was controversial, and it's
It
ridiculous.
certainly was. So I love a background choir. I think it's so awesome in so many songs. So I'm a sucker for the choir. I love kind of the staccato music in there. It's a song of hope. It's very progressive for a country song, way different than Honky Tonk Bar Association. This song reminds me of Black and White by Michael Jackson. Very inclusive song. And that may be the reason.
Same thing.
Maybe the reason why it only hit number 12, but I love this song.
Yeah, I didn't think I liked this song from memory, but I do now. I actually do like listening to it, but after reading about the controversy, I'm like, are you fucking country music? Some stations went so far as to ban it.
Mhm.
I mean, this would be a song that today somebody would call woke, which I hate that term. It's so stupid because woke just means you accept other people and that's it. That means you accept other people. This song is about accepting other people. That's it. And he went too far for country music. The lyrics aren't crazy. There's nothing objectionable in it. And I like that he is willing to use his fame and go against that hardcore, country establishment and do this. So they played this video on NBC before the Super Bowl in 1993. NBC didn't even want to play the video, but he was supposed to sing the national anthem, and he refused to do the national anthem unless they played his video, which that's awesome. They caved because he's Garth Brooks at this time.
Garth Brooks, yep.
It's an anthem of uniting and love and respect. And you had all these celebrities in it too, which is cool. And I love the Patrick Swayze's in it because, of course, Patrick Swayze's famous line from Roadhouse is,
"Be nice."
Be nice. That's
Yep.
all this song is. And guess what? This also won Video of the Year again after all this controversy. So this is my second sneaky favorite. I had no idea I liked it. And after learning about it, I'm like, Jesus, people, just get over yourself.
I'm
Yep.
surprised, Brad. I didn't think that you would like this song that much.
I didn't either.
It didn't seem this one. I could do without the song itself. I agree with everything that you guys said, that there's nothing wrong with it, and they didn't need to ban it or anything. Just musically, it doesn't hit me like some of the other songs do, and my life would be the same if the song had never been written.
It's a different song for Garth Brooks. Like Gifford said, you got like a gospel choir. This is more of this is not probably the biggest thing. It's not a traditional country music song.
And maybe that's part of it. I'm nothing against it, but I'm
not saying that it's my favorite. I'm going to go out and listen, but just learning about the song, and I did actually like it enough hearing it that I'm like, okay, I can get behind this one. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, and hey, if you're going to pick a sneaky favorite off a hits album, take the lowest ranking one as far as
my other one
hit.
was number 8. There you go. Right? My other one only hit number 8, I think. So I'm on with that. And I had no idea.
So this album only has 2 songs off The Chase. The Chase, I think everybody would, argue is probably the least of the 5, but there are so many songs on The Chase that I love. I think it's obviously the most underrated, but there are so many great ones, and a lot of them aren't originals. But I just think there's so many good ones. You got Mr. Right in there, Somewhere Other Than the Night, Walking After Midnight, Dixie Chicken, Night Rider's Lament. So not a lot of originals in there, but there are some originals in there, but one of the really underrated albums, I think, for country music. So just 2 songs off of this album. We're going to hit a very fun one a little later on off The Chase. But we are going to move forward to number 14, Papa Loved Mama. This is the 4th single off of Rope in the Wind. Came out February 3rd of 92. This one hit number 3. I like to call it the lighter side of killing your spouse. Totally
it's a happy song.
It's a fun song.
Kind of like Goodbye Earl.
Exactly.
That's a happy, fun song.
It's the lighter side of killing your spouse. I love the whiny, twangy lyrics. It's got a great fiddle again. And the line, he never hit the brakes when he was shifting gears. He's going in for multiple homicides here, driving his semi into that motel. Mama, she's a good time gal, right? She's walking out on Papa all the time, just banging everything in town, leaving the kids at home to fend for themselves.
Hold on a second. What town is that?
Yeah. She's dead, Pete. I think, and she's in the grave.
Mama's in the graveyard. Papa's in the pen.
Yes, absolutely. So
that's such a great line. Right.
It is.
Just perfect. Go
I have
on.
no notes to add to this one. This is a really fun song. I'm not sure if I remembered loving this one, but I really did like it.
Absolute
Very
bang.
fun.
Yeah.
High end
Yeah,
of those good 9 songs again.
And it hits a lot of tropes, right? It's got a truck in there. Now the truck's in the shop. There's prison, dead parent. You know, it's got everything in there. You know,
That's a country song right there. That's
right. If he could have just
this
maybe
is old
ran
school
over
country.
a dog on the way through the motel, you know, then he could have had a dead dog too. You know, that would have fed into the country theme. But I love this song. I think it's just absolutely amazing. We're going to get into number 15 here. I think you guys are going to have a little something to say about Shameless. This is the second single off of Roping the Wind. This, of course, hit number 1 October 21st, 91 is when it was released. It's a Billy Joel remake from his Stormfront album in 89. Absolutely amazing vocals from Garth here. Great steel guitar. And the big point I have here with 3 exclamation points, dude's pussy whipped. I mean, good Lord in heaven, is he in a bad way? What say you fellas?
We've all been there too, haven't we? But God, this is
got to take his glasses off. Step back.
I got to take my shirt off now. But my God, this is a freaking great song. I don't even have enough words for how awesome of a song this is. I cannot stop listening to it. It brings a tear to your eye almost, how good it is and how beautifully written and sung it is, and the ultimate love song for me, because it's just like you melt, your heart melts when you hear this one.
He's laying it out there.
Yep, he's just laying it out there, which takes a lot of bravery to do. It's you're swallowing your pride for that one special woman.
I always knew this was a Billy Joel song, but I always thought it was an older song. I didn't realize till now that it came out in 1989.
Yep,
so it was actually a relatively new song, and Garth had known. So there's a good story for this one too, which I have some questions if it's really true. But so Garth's story is that he got this CD because he joined like a BMG, where you get a bunch of CDs for a penny, and then if you don't cancel, they'll just send you like the CD of the month or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he said they sent him this CD, and he hadn't listened to Billy Joel for a long time, and he fell in love with Billy Joel again, and then he loved this song, and that he kept watching to see if he was going to release it as a single, and when he never did, he asked Billy Joel if he could go for it. But my question is, so this album came out in 1989. So Garth Brooks was in a CD club in 1990? That just doesn't seem likely that would be, but this is a great concert song because the effort he puts into those vocals, like you said, it's fantastic. This is my third of the 3 favorites. Rodeo, Thunder Rolls, and Shameless. I mean, these are epic, the songs of the songs.
Well, before his first single, he was a shoe salesman in Nashville. Like, so he might have just not, like you say, it was one that he might have forgot he had the subscription.
But I believe he said he was actually like on tour, and that's why he forgot to cancel it. Nobody did it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's a good story though. It's a good story about how he like rediscovered Billy Joel and it brought him to this. It's a hell of a story. So
I will say that I have a Trisha Yearwood. I have a Trisha Yearwood CD specifically because of that reason. Forgot to put my order in or whatever.
Her debut, but she's in love with Boy on
it. Yes. Yep.
Well, that's a good.
The pink covered album. Yes. Yeah. That's a good one for sure. All right. Anything else to say about that banger, Shameless?
No, but like with the Thunder Rolls, unfortunately, we're going the opposite direction now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. We've got 3 more bangers to go here. Hold on, buckle up. Don't put your glasses on quite
There's 2 good ones. I'm just talking about the next song.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. So we got number 16 here. 2 of a Kind, Working on a Full House, came out January of 91. 3rd single from No Fences. This hit number 1, ended the 91 year at number 15. I love this song. This is a great 2-stepping song. If you're in the honky tonk, you got the fiddle, the guitar, the fun lyrics, the poker analogies. I love this song. I eat it up every single time I hear it. Absolutely love it.
I'm with you, Gifford. Before we get to the
Negative Nelly.
Negative Nelly, that's the word I was looking for, or Debbie Downer. I like it. It's fun. Just have fun with it. Just enjoy it.
Mhm.
And you'll be a happier person if you open your mind up to this. It plays off a pun like the like the Honky Tonk Bar Association, but this
Already
one
made my
is
feelings clear on that.
this one is like an old country song, and I just enjoy it.
So I Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up is fun. Callin' Baton Rouge is fun. Papa Love Mama's fun. I like a fun song. This one doesn't work for me. I've already said I don't like puns. This feels like a by the numbers country song based off this one idea, and then we're gonna wrap the lyrics. Now the music might be fine, but I get distracted by the lyrics. It's not for me. The other thing I don't like about it is that so the music is okay actually, the lyrics, but it's also Garth's voice. He sings different in this song. It's too forced and it's too twangy and it's not the way he normally sounds and it doesn't work for me. So
I like the
out of
twang.
18
Garth,
songs, with a guy that I'm not a huge fan of in a genre that's not my number one, there's only 3 that I don't like.
Yep.
And I don't hate any of them. I just think they're kind of lame. That's all.
Fair enough.
Garth,
So,
if you're listening,
give me a
Gifford and I would like to express our apologies. The opinions of Brad do not necessarily
Sometimes I
represent
feel
the
like
opinions of
never
everybody
listen
on
to
here.
what I
So,
say.
Right.
so
Well, this is what I'll say, Brett. Look up a video on learning to two-step, then slide this into the old CD player. Grab your wife Kim, who owns the CD, loves the CD. I'm assuming. Pop this one in, and this is gonna change your life as far as two-stepping
You
goes.
got me that tape of this without the lyrics and just the music, and I would learn. I probably would love it then, and I'd two-step and I'd love the music, but I don't like the lyrics or the voice.
All right, fair enough. Hey, that's what we love on this show.
And you wanted
Controversy and nostalgia.
So I've got
And-
3
Right.
songs I didn't like. We're done now. This
All
next
right,
one
let's-
seems like
by the way,
it's a
Gifford-
crazy song, but it's actually a good song.
Let's
You
step
just
into
spoke
some
of
controversy.
Yeah, it's a good segue to the next one.
All right, so coming into number 17, we've got this banger. That Summer came out April 26th of 93, 4th single from The Chase.
Hold
This
on.
hit
By the way,
number 1.
this is using the word banger a little bit differently. Anyway, go on.
Yes, you can use it. Well, you know what? In this song, there's a lot of innuendo. So we're just going to throw it out there. It's a banger.
Not really. It's pretty obvious.
So this is total cougar song. Let's just get into it. What do you guys have to say about this awesome song?
It's just a simple song about a boy losing his virginity to an older cougar and likely statutory rape. That's all.
No. He could be 18. He could be 19.
He could be.
Yeah.
We don't know. It should be. They should throw that in the lyrics somewhere just in case. My point is,
In parentheses.
If it was a
Parenthetical,
girl,
he's 18.
if it was a girl that was 18 and she was doing this with a 40-year-old man, nobody would like that song and he wouldn't make
No.
it.
No.
But I really like it musically and lyrically. I like the lyrics. I love how it goes. This is my 3rd sneaky favorite. This is the one I didn't
Mhm.
think I remembered very well, and I didn't think I was going to like it, especially when I started listening to the lyrics. Like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Garth thinks this is a sexy song, and it does come off that way, but is it appropriate? I don't know. I don't care either. I love it. It's a great song. It's awesome.
Was there ever any like national controversy about this song? I don't recall that. And if ever there was
Way
a
more
song,
controversial than "We Shall Be Freed." That's what
right.
yes. Good,
Yeah.
well said.
This
but,
song is about 2 people being very free as well. There's no doubt about that.
That's true. But I'm with Brad and you, Gifford. This is a really, really great song. It's fun to listen to, fun to sing along to, fun to fantasize yourself as the boy.
Young man.
But yeah, young man.
Farm boy,
Yep.
fetch me that pitcher of water.
Gifford's insistent that he's 18 or 19. He could be
Yes.
13 for all we know.
No, you're not
I'm
leaving
just gonna
home.
throw that out there.
You're not leaving home at 13 to go work on another farm. But I will say this. So I worked for a lot of different neighbors growing up, doing pick and rock, baling hay,
Yeah.
doing all this stuff. There was one particular lady that, yes, fueled something deep inside me. So,
See a banger?
she was nice. She was nice to look at. So, of course, that was back when I was, 14, 15, a little bit too young for that kind of stuff. But I like to envision this young man as fresh out of high school, 18, 19 years old. He's an adult. He can go do what he needs to do. So yeah, I'm completely fine with the song. I completely agree with the idea.
Song.
I completely agree with the idea that if this was flopped gender-wise, this would not be as,
And
as
I guess
likely to be received well.
my point is, even if he's 18 and it's all legal, it's still a weird topic you'd think to write a song about. Like it's kind of a weird place to go to just to even start from. That's the thing.
But there was also who sang the song "She's Only 17." I mean, that was even
Winger.
worse.
Well,
Yeah,
that
Winger.
is not remembered well.
Right. So this song, one of the best lyrics in it. Every time I pass a wheat field and watch it dancing with the wind, that's just an awesome lyric. I did say how Courtney changes lyrics and doesn't do it that well. One of the lyrics that I always change in this song, when I told her that I never, she softly whispered, "Yeah, right." That's the way I hear it in my head. That she's kind of goading him into, let's just get to it. It's all right. It's fine that you're a virgin. Let's get this going. So
we'll take care of that real quick now, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I love this song. Very suggestive, and every young man's fantasy. I like to think so.
I think Garth Brooks's description of it as being sexy too. It's like it just doesn't quite sit right. Even though I love it. I have no problem with it.
Yep.
But it's just it just is weird. It's a weird song. It's weird in a good way.
Yeah. Just try not to think about it too much.
No, I didn't. That's why it's in purple. Purples are my sneaky favorites.
Excellent. All right, so we are going to finish this album off with number 18, The Dance. This is the fourth single from his debut album. Came out April 30th of 1990. This was at number 1 for 3 weeks. Beautiful song, beautiful lyrics, wonderful message. Brad talks about a lot of these slow songs feeling like funeral songs.
Yes.
For all three of us, I think this is a very emotional song. I can't listen to it without tearing up. We had a very horrible tragedy in, I believe it was Valentine's Day of 93, where 2 of our seniors in our class ahead of us were killed in a car accident. And to this day,
just quick small correction. It was the day after Valentine's Day.
It was the day after.
15th. I remember that because it was my dad's birthday.
And it would have been 92 because we were juniors. No, sorry.
It was 93.
Right, you're right. But we were juniors.
To this day, I still don't know how Jason Kohler was able to stand up there in front of a gym full of people and sing this song at the funeral of Shane and Ryan. Yeah, I was listening to it on Sunday, and I was tearing up listening to it. It's just an emotional song, I think, for anybody that came from RTR during our time. So absolutely gorgeous. What do you guys have to say?
Totally agree. It can mean different things depending on what your mood is, because it can be just a love gone bad song, or it can be which is what it is on the surface, but then you watch the video and it's about like Martin Luther King and some other people that died doing great things that they might not otherwise have been doing if they could see the future and seen what was coming. And so it can absolutely hit you both ways, but it's it is just an absolutely gorgeous song, and this can be a slow dance song also, Gifford, if you want to do your high school dance.
What was that, Brad?
It's called The Dance.
It certainly is.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. But a very sad song that really tugs at your heartstrings, no matter how you interpret it. Beautiful, beautiful song.
It's beautiful, and it has that connotation for us. And I guess I don't know if that's how everybody thinks of it, because this does sound like a funeral song to me, like all those others. But a lot of that's because it was played at a funeral. It's really pretty to me. I feel like, and this is off his first album, so to me, this seems like much more of a signature song than If Tomorrow Never Comes. But maybe that's just, because we heard it more often. But I felt like this was a pretty big song and pretty well known, even before he like really hit it off. So yeah, it got mixed feelings on this one, and it's kind of a downer to end this way, but it's a great song. It's a really good ballad.
Right. Well, and that is going to do it for this album. Gentlemen, I really appreciate you guys listening to all 18 songs. Pete, doing all that you can to gain access to it, since you did not have the CD and he is not across all the music platforms. This is an artist that I love. We've gone through so many years in our first 4 of doing this podcast, and I always skipped past Garth, thought, I should really do that. So Brad, great idea to make February about things that we love, so that I could come back and revisit this, and just have so many great memories of listening to this music when it came out.
Perfect timing. And I will say that I'm a bigger Garth Brooks fan today than I ever was before, after going back and learning about some of these songs, listening. And I love it's 18 songs, but it didn't feel like sometimes you listen, you gotta take your notes, it feels like a slog. Because these songs are all 3 or 4 minutes long. I whipped through this. It was great.
And they're all fun songs that you can sing along to. Like I can sing along to almost every lyric on this whole album, and it's just fun, not start to finish.
Well, and we covered Appetite for Destruction last week. That was 12 songs. This album's 18, and it's only 12 minutes longer. So we got through quite a bit of stuff. I think the longest song was like 4.5 minutes. So yeah, it definitely moves through, and because they're hits, it's pretty quick to get through, especially for me. So great album. Glad we were able to cover it here. For tonight. Oh, no, we are not. So our top 5 tonight, because we don't talk about greatest hits albums, this is the first time we've talked about the subject. We are going to do our top 5 best greatest hits albums of all time. So tonight, of course,
greatest hits album. That's what we should do. We should do a draft of the greatest hits.
The greatest hip grabbing albums.
Right, yeah. Right. Or what I thought you said earlier, we'll do a draft of the greatest
hits. We'll do that. Yeah, we did that with the steamiest scenes. We already did that. We did the steamiest scenes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so that was on there. So we're going to I'll go first, and then Brad, and then Pete will go third. So with my number 1 overall pick, I am going to take the album One. The Beatles came out November 13th of 2000.
You're not taking Garth Brooks.
I am not. I'm hoping that I can pick him up a little bit later.
That's actually, by the way, that's kind of an upset, or maybe not an upset, but a sleeper pick to go number 1. I saw that one, but I wasn't expecting it to go number 1 overall.
So I looked through all our Beatles, and we have that CD, but I missed it. It wasn't even on my list. Didn't even have it down.
Wow, the greatest selling artists of all time.
But I think part of it is it came out when we were adults, and so different. The reason why I love this list tonight, we all got our CD players. I got my first CD player in like 1990, and many of the first CDs that me and you guys ever bought were greatest hits albums from classic rock bands, where you're not going to go buy all their CDs, but the radio songs and you want to get them. And I have so many of those, and I got so many of those right away. That's like how I learned about most of these bands. So this is such a fun topic, I think. Well, I'm going with what is one of the all-time best-selling albums in history, and my first CD I ever bought by this band, Eagles' Greatest Hits Volume 1.
Yep. 71 through 75.
Volume 1.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a good one. That was on my list.
That's a freaking awesome one.
And it's still what, top 5 all-time selling album? It's up there. It's
Yeah, it's in the top 5. Here's the thing: all these are going to be bangers. They're all freaking greatest hits albums, so there's not going to be a miss anywhere in here. Pete, what say you?
I'm swinging for the fences. I'm getting the one I had number 1 on my list, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Nice.
Greatest hits. That is one that I listen to probably more than any other CD. Freshman and sophomore year of college for sure. Probably senior year in high school as well.
And of the 3 of us, you should have that one because you did. And I have 24 albums listed here, and that's my 24th one only because I actually never owned that one. That's one of those CDs you heard, everybody had it and you heard it all the time. And I never actually owned that CD. I had all those other CDs, so I didn't feel like
Right.
So,
well, that's crazy. I thought you did because
I don't think so. I don't think I did.
That surprised me. I'm sure that you had it.
Well, and I was too lazy to go through all of my cases of CDs to go, actually look at the ones that I all had. But
I'm glad you got it because I think he's, as much as I love him, it feels like that's better for you.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to go with, came out October 26th of 81. I'm going greatest hits, Queen.
Oh my God. I can't believe you picked that. Because that's what I really wanted.
Okay. Well, I would hope that we all want everything that everybody's picking on.
I didn't think that would be on your list.
Okay. Queen. Yeah, they're a little known band.
We're going for the nostalgia again here too. And this is a great album, but so when I got my CD player, the first 2 CDs I ever bought, you guys remember? We talked about one of them about 2 years ago. Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation.
Oh, yep.
And Journey, Greatest Hits. And everybody. And the only bad thing about Journey Greatest Hits is it didn't include what's maybe their best song ever, Stone in Love. And so you have all these great songs and it's great, but that song's not on. It's like, I need that song too.
Yeah.
But since that's the first CD I ever bought, I mean, I got to pick that one.
Yep.
Another one that I listened to often in high school and some in college too. I'm going with Johnny Cash, The Legend of Johnny Cash.
Is that what it's called? Because he has multiple, different things you could pick.
Yep. Yeah, I think that the one that we listened to was The Legend of Johnny Cash, though.
I thought it was called something else.
I'm sure there's multiple.
I know what one you're talking about. Get Rhythm is the song, right?
Get Rhythm is on it. Ring of Fire is on it.
Well, they're
a whole bunch of great ones. Yeah, they're all on it.
All right, I'm going to go with one that I absolutely wore out. I might be cheating here a little bit because I'm going Volume 1 and Volume 2 Greatest Hits from 1985, Billy Joel.
That's my next one. Because everybody had the double Billy Joel.
Yes.
CD.
Yes.
Yep.
That was going to be my next pick.
I had that CD. If it was a tape, it wouldn't work anymore. There's no arguing that.
Well, great pick. Obviously, that was where I wanted to go. Okay, I have these ordered, but I don't even know how to pick them. I'm going to go with another one that, this isn't a band that I would have ever probably owned a specific album from. But again, their greatest hits defined like our high school years, even though they're from the 70s. Steve Miller Band.
Oh!
I got that from Pete.
God damn it.
Because when you put on the Steve Miller Band greatest hits,
yep,
I mean,
that
it
was
just
one
doesn't
we
end.
wore out.
God,
Yep.
I'm so pissed.
He's the perfect guy for greatest hits album.
I was going to pick that, my next pick.
Yeah. Well, just don't take my next pick.
All right. Well, I'm going with another one that I listened to frequently in high school. I'm going with The Doors. Best of The Doors.
Another double CD that I own.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whew. All right. I'm gambling here. All right, I'm gonna go with a double CD set here. I'm going The Hits from Prince from '93. I would say disc 2 if I had to pick one over the other, but I'll take both
It's
of
the
them.
hits. That's fine.
It's the hits B-sides. Is that what it's called? The hits
Uh,
/ B-sides?
There's
Because
yes.
it,
Yeah, it's
the-
actually 3 discs. It's the hits 1 and 2, and then B-sides. But
right, yeah, because the album name that I have listed is the hits / B-sides. So I
Yep,
just want to make
that's
sure
the
I'm
one.
crossing off the right one.
Pete, it is Classic Cash Hall of Fame series. That's the one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I know. Just letting you know.
All right.
All right.
Brad, your pick.
My pick. This time I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna take my next highest one. This is another band where they're from the 70s and early 80s. You know, they have many albums, many hits. But for me, I would just put this greatest hits CD on, and there's like 15 songs on it, and they're all awesome. And I'm taking Styx.
nice.
And I mean, Renegade enough is all I need, but there's so many.
You just need
so
greatest
many.
hit is what you need.
No, I like them all.
Yep.
Fooling Yourself. Blue Collar Man.
Here's
Babe.
a fun one that we all listen to frequently. I'm going with Simon and Garfunkel, greatest hits.
Yep.
Well, see, I have the concert in Central Park, and I was kind of thinking about that, but I'm like, well, that's not actually greatest hits. So,
Mm-mm.
Right.
but there is a greatest hits too, then, huh? Of
Yes.
course there is.
And I think that's the one that I had.
Oh, speaking of, I have a Paul Simon, Negotiations and Love Songs. That's a greatest hits. I love
There you
that.
go.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that one on my list too.
Well, you can still pick it.
Nope.
Well,
I'm
much
the
like
same thing.
much like track 16 on the album that we listened to tonight, it was Gambling Theme. My gamble paid off. I'm going to go ahead and take the hits, Garth Brooks, 94, as my number 5 pick.
Well, that's right. You hadn't even picked it yet.
Nope. I figured you guys weren't going to, but I need it on my list, so I figured I could
I don't
do
know.
that. I got my 1
Teacher
through
could've.
5, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, well, and you guys haven't named hardly anything I have listed here. So,
Oh, there's a ton left.
all right. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with another double CD that you don't know what I'm talking about, Gifford.
No, but you always go double. If you can get more than one
Oh.
disc, you got to go with it.
So this is another great band, 70s and 80s, with a lot of albums, and I wouldn't, but this is before my time, and I wouldn't have bought any of them. But I believe it's called Sand and the Vaseline, and it's the Talking Heads. And so if you just want to listen to Talking Heads, go put on this double CD, and you get all the best songs. And I love it.
Oh, good stuff. Pete, what is your last pick? What's your last greatest pick?
You just fell on Aerosmith. That's a
Nice.
Simpsons line. I think of it every time I'm going with Aerosmith, greatest hits.
93 through 88?
Yes.
All right.
93 through 88.
I'm sorry, 73 through 88. 73 through 88. Sorry.
I didn't even know that
November
existed.
11th of 80.
I didn't even know that album existed.
Oh, yeah.
So that came out between Permanent Vacation and Pop.
It came. Oh, it must have been
88?
90. Yeah, it's
Or
73
90.
through 88. Must have came out in 90. Sorry. I misprinted my stats here.
It's weird because so Permanent Vacation would be on there. And then
Yeah, let me look up the track list.
I don't know. I didn't know that. I don't have that one.
Let's look at the track list on that one. That has.
Pete, why don't you run through your extras?
Oh no, it came out. What the
All right.
hell? That doesn't make any sense.
I had Guns N'
Go ahead.
Roses greatest. Guns N' Roses greatest hits. What?
You go ahead.
Don't-
I'm
I'm-
looking at this. This is just confusing the hell out of me.
Okay, Neil Young and Alan Jackson were the ones that I had that.
Well, that's it?
Selected. Yep, that's it.
All right. Gifford looks confused, so I'll go. I got the Eagles Volume 2.
That's his normal look.
You got to
Yeah, no
have that
shit.
one on there.
Well,
I almost
speaking of the Eagles, Hell Freezes Over. Do you count that as a greatest hits album, or do you count it as a separate album entirely?
I don't even know what's on it, so I don't know.
It's got a lot of their old hits, but I think it was re-recorded, and so you can't.
Yeah.
And then they had new stuff on there.
And there was some new stuff. So
Eagles Volume 1, Volume 2. I almost picked The Cars with my last pick. That's a great one. Here's one we all had in the 80s, and it pissed a lot of people off. So, because they were such a band that people loved in the 70s, and they completely changed their sound. Chicago, 82 to 89, with all the sappy songs. And
I had that one, and that's where for my first date with my wife, that's the song I played off of that CD.
Another great one is Loverboy. I had that one and loved it. I didn't pick REM, but their eponymous album is basically greatest hits of their IRS series, their first 5 CDs, which is good. The other huge one that everybody had with Journey and Styx and Steve Miller was REO Speedwagon. Had that one. Supertramp is a great one that I had. The Go-Go's is great. The Best of Van Morrison. That's where I really, learned a lot more about Van Morrison. I love the Doobie Brothers, the Allman Brothers. Those are fantastic. The Beach Boys, 20 Good Vibrations.
That's the one I can't believe none of us picked. I had the Platinum Collection Sounds of Summer from 2005.
The Violent Femmes, Bad Company. That's a great one I had. And the only other one that you didn't name yet is ABBA, which that's another classic one. That
God, yes.
Nobody picked ABBA.
Yep. A few more I've got here. The Immaculate Collection, Madonna from 90. History, Book 1, Michael Jackson from 95. Bruce Springsteen, Greatest Hits from 95. Elton John from 74. The Essential Leonard Skinner from 98. Alabama Greatest Hits from 86. Brad, I thought you might have that one on there.
Good country one.
Just Looking for a Hit. Mr. Dwight Yoakam from 89. That one I damn near wore out. That was actually
I have a Dwight Yoakam one too. I thought about putting that one on there.
That was the 4th one that I wrote down. As like I need to have this one, but then as I made my list, I was like, good Lord, as much as I love Dwight. The last one I have on here, you guys can argue whether or not it's a greatest hits album, but we all had it. Can't Have Nothing Nice. Gear Daddies from 92. It was made up of 2 albums and then some new stuff, but everybody, we all had that one. So
that's a good
love
one.
That album. Yeah.
Hey, that
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's gonna wrap
closing
up
the yearbook.
Yeah,
closing our month.
Closing the special section. Yes, the love section.
When we reopen it next month,
mine was like half a page.
When we reopen it next month, we're gonna go way back. We're gonna go back to the beginning, season 5. We're gonna go back to season 1. So our very first episode ever, me and Pete alone did 1982, and we had a little different format with that one, and we didn't really make all of our own picks necessarily, so Gifford wasn't there. We're going to go back and revisit 1982.
That was before we made it big.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
And so we're going to do it our way now, and I'm sure if anybody listens to our show, they're probably going to be fans of that year.
By the way, it's still before we make it big right now.
It is. Yeah.
And I don't think you guys have made your picks, but we will be talking about Looney Tunes from my side, and I'm very excited for that.
I am as well.
Hey, Gifford, what band has more greatest hits than anybody?
Well, that's Preacher Row. All they have is hits, and they're all great.
That's all. It's all hits.
Yes,
all
and we're gonna play one right now.
Yeah.
So. Hey, thank you everybody for listening. We're going to get right back into our regular format next month, so be sure to listen in and reach out on the socials. Let us know what you're thinking, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple. That would be awesome. So we're going to keep on trucking. Thanks, folks.
Hi.
Bye.
comfort me. Sorry for what I have done. Sorry that your song is gone. 7 steps and it will be my last. Hands tied, tell me on my back. Heart down and I look to you. I'm scared but there's nothing I can do.